My name is Emily Carter. I'm 28 years old, and this summer turned out to be the strangest of my life. I came to a small seaside town for just a couple of weeks, rented an old house by the ocean, and was sure I would spend my time quietly, books, walks along the beach, and silence. But everything changed the evening I saw him. He was standing on the pier, leaning against the railing, writing something in a worn notebook. The wind tossed his hair, and the pages trembled in his hands. I slowed down, but he didn't even notice me. The next day, we met in a cafe. "You were watching me for a long time yesterday," he said, without even lifting his eyes from the cup. I froze, embarrassed, but he smiled. That's how I learned his name, Daniel. From that day on, our paths seemed destined to cross. He walked me home after my morning runs, brought fresh peaches from the market, and showed me hidden trails leading to an abandoned lighthouse. We climbed up there, and from above the whole town looked like a toy. Sometimes he would make me race him barefoot on the wet sand, and I laughed in a way I hadn't in years. But with joy came a shadow of doubt. Daniel could disappear for days. I knocked on the door of his house. No answer. The landlady swore she didn't rent the place to anyone. And yet, a day later, I would find him at the market, calm, as if nothing had happened. "Where were you?" I once asked, breathless after chasing him along the boardwalk. "Sometimes I just disappear," he said lightly. "Is that so bad?" He was too strange. One evening he told me a story about a shipwreck that had happened years ago off this very coast. I listened to him by the fire, and his voice sounded as though he had been there himself. "You speak as if you lived back then," I remarked. He only smiled. I even tried following him. One night I stepped outside and saw him standing by the water. The waves lapped around his ankles as he stared at the sea, notebook in hand. But when I came closer, he was gone. Simply gone, as if the mist had swallowed him. On the last evening of August, he came to me. "Thank you for this summer," he said quietly. "Remember it." And then he walked toward the beach. I ran after him, sprinting across the sand until my breath gave out. But his footprints ended right at the shoreline. Now I sit on the same porch, listening to the ocean. Everything around me looks ordinary. Gulls, salt in the air, warm boards under my bare feet. But sometimes, when the wind flips through the pages of my book, I feel as if someone is still near, and I keep asking myself, who was Daniel? A man? A ghost? Or just a fragment of the summer I'll never be able to forget?